I, 24F, and my ex-boyfriend, 24M, were dating for 6 years. We have two kids together, our first being born in 2023. I'm unfortunately going to have to take this to the very beginning. Things were obviously great in the beginning. We had a lot of love to give. No fights, not many arguments, but a lot of conversations. We were very young adults when we started dating, which means that we were also very immature. Fast forward a little bit, we first broke up because there was something that he was missing in his life. I respected that and let him go to figure out that missing piece. We got back together in 2019 and things were great again. Fast forward to what this post is really about. Our children. Like I previously stated, our first was born in 2023, but problems arose in 2022 when I was pregnant. I was our only transportation. I had my own car and my license. He doesn't have a license or a car, he has his permit. During my pregnancy, I know that my personality changed. I became a little pushier about him getting his license, even understanding him about his anxiety with being behind the wheel. I felt bad and would always apologize for being pushy and remind him that I was not trying to make it seem like I was disregarding his feelings. He also had a major certain hub addiction, if you know what I mean. It made me feel insecure a lot, and I did express this to him every time. He always said, "I'll try," and I took it as that every single time. Obviously, nothing changed, so I became frustrated and angry, and maybe even resentful. Maybe we lost our spark. Maybe we can ignite it again. I thought to myself. So I told him a day to take off of work and took him out to dinner for a date night. Fast forward to having our first. A couple weeks after having our firstborn, he wasn't helping me at night with our child. He blamed it on being exhausted after work, in which I completely understood, but I said I'm tired too. I just ask for a nap even if it's just for an hour. I never got those naps I asked politely for. The apartment was too much to afford anymore, so he put his name on the title of a trailer, and we lived in that trailer with his mom and his brother. I was honestly excited because maybe this meant that I could get a break here and there to at least take my showers alone. I was a stay-at-home mom when my son was born because we didn't have childcare. We got denied because he made too much. Problems were still arising even in the trailer. No motivation to drive, or doesn't want to drive. It was getting on my nerves, and I sat him down to talk about these things that were actually starting to bother me. He said he'd try harder, in which things would change for a week and then go back to the same pattern. This happened a lot. I even would remind him often how much I appreciate the things I've seen through the week and how much stress is lifted off my back. Then boom, right back to square one. It was exhausting to go back and forth. Not even a year into being in the trailer with his family, things were tense. He went away for the weekend an hour away with his buddies while our kids had COVID and RSV at the same time. I truly felt like he deserved the break, and he let me know way ahead of time that they planned this trip. He did this 3 times. A camping trip with the boys. His friend, Peter, always asked, "Are you sure you're okay with him leaving?" And I said, as long as at some point I can get my weekend or a night out with my best friend, then of course. I hope you guys have fun and be safe. In which they both responded that it was well-deserved for me to only get the same treatment. Spoiler, I never got that. I went to my best friend's house on a Saturday night. Our kid was in bed. Not even 5 minutes after getting there, he calls my friend's phone, and I put it on speaker. He completely flips out at me, swearing at me to get back home because our kid is screaming and crying. He supposedly tried everything. I apologized for what my friend and her family just heard, and I left. My best friend is his childhood best friend too, by the way, so his family and her family are super close. I got back home and took care of our kid. Pretty sure it was growing pains because my kid's leg was super stiff. I massaged his leg and he fell asleep in my arms, and once I felt comfortable, I laid him in his crib. I closed his bedroom door, and I looked straight at my BF at the time, and I just could not hold it in anymore. I said, "Are you FING serious? Who TF do you think you're talking to like that?" He's silent. He doesn't say a single word. I continued, "You'd know what to do if you were actually present. Did you know that? You'd know how to be a parent and take care of him without my help if you weren't such a fake present father. But no, you have only stayed around because you didn't want to follow in your father's footsteps." He stayed silent. I knew he was trying to tune me out because of what I said about his dad, and that I probably hurt him by saying that, but this frustrated me, so I walked over and sat in front of him, making him look at me. I raised my voice a little bit higher than a whisper and kept going, saying, "It's funny that you can get an entire weekend away, but I can't even get 5 minutes on a Saturday night. You were also on speaker, by the way, so good job for embarrassing yourself in front of your second family." I couldn't help but to just keep going. It's like 6 years of frustration just came out in the span of an hour. I realized my conversation wasn't going anywhere, and I told him I was done. His anger had gotten worse. Never laid his hands on me or the kids, had our second child before this conversation. But once I saw that he was coming home with a hand wrap and throwing things out of frustration with gaming alone, I honestly became weary and a little scared. His attitude got worse, etc. I was tired of doing single mom activities while in a relationship with the father of our kids. If I wasn't going to leave for myself, I was going to leave for our children, and that's exactly what I did. I left so our kids didn't have to watch our issues and feel like it's their fault and taking it upon themselves to fix it. Neither him or I wanted a broken home, but I wasn't going to let our children watch the house burn while still being in it. I left, and I truly thought it would be the end of it. He asks to see the kids. I let him, but I'm there to watch and to make sure nothing goes wrong. I ask for money when it's needed for the kids, like milk, formula, diapers, wipes, or gas. I never wanted court involved because I know he's not a bad person, and I never wanted court to screw him over on child support. I never asked him for anything more. I never asked him for anything for myself. Little did I know that I was being talked about behind my back from his family. Remember when I said that his family and my best friend's family are close? They have game nights every weekend, and guess who was at one of those game nights talking about me? His mother. My best friend told me what she was saying. How I left for no reason, and that there was no warning to me leaving with the kids. It just happened one random day. The best part? She was talking about how she knew I had a plan. My guess was maybe a plan to screw him over? I really have no idea what she meant by it, so I texted his mom, which is what the screenshot shows. As you can see, she never responded to me after that. By the way, I really was hoping that it was going to be a temporary situation because when we broke up he said he'd go to therapy and he never did. Mind you, this text was sent months after our breakup, and finding out that she was continuously talking behind my back when all I have ever showed this family was respect even after everything that has happened. A couple of his friends have reached out and basically called me an for getting child support when I said I didn't want to do that. I told them that I'm being forced to through county/state because I have childcare assistance through the county, and if you have assistance then there needs to be some sort of child support, and every paycheck he's basically broke, so I haven't gotten anything from him in months. When I did ask for money for the kids, and he would say he doesn't have anything, I left it alone, sold something of mine, and got by for the day/week or month. Until I got all of the assistance stuff I needed done, they basically said it was BS, and they don't believe it. So, am I actually the in all of this? This has been on my mind for such a long time, maybe because his mom recently talked behind my back again about not bringing the kids over a couple weeks ago. But let me know what you guys think, please, because this is honestly driving me insane thinking that I'm the problem and always have been. Edit. I forgot to add the picture. My apologies. Edit on top of this. 1. I want to make it very clear that rose-colored glasses exist for red flags, which is why #tube exists, and I have no regret that she does exist. I'm also getting a salpingectomy, due to having eclampsia with both of my children, so nobody has to worry about a third from me or the fear of having a third from the same man. I also have upped my standards a lot ever since, which is basically being single because I want to just focus on my kids and which is what I have been doing, but I question if I'm the bad person at times because not everyone is a saint, but I truly feel like the only bads I've ever done in our relationship specifically was call him out for his wrongdoings. 2. The court situation. I worded this so incredibly wrong because I tried to make this as short as possible to not annoy any of you. Yes, I know that court is important. I just never liked my state's system on how to run things. That's why I was so adamant about not going because we were already co-parenting just fine, so I thought we could work around the system lol. Y'all, he works a part-time job at a gas station and pays for a trailer, so if anything the kids are getting about $200 for CS. Would the extra money help? Probably for their savings that I have for them. I'm not entirely sure, only because I'm used to doing things my way now that I figured out a decent routine to figure things out without him or his money. I don't struggle buying my children's needs like when I first started, and I worked so incredibly hard to get to where I am now. When I said I was forced to get child support, I didn't mean it in a bad way. Of course he needs to support his children. I 100% agree with that. I just wish I didn't have to get it all because I have childcare assistance. That's the only reason why I said that. 3. The post was mostly made as a I don't think I'm the but I am overanalyzing and need outsider opinions. Because that's just what we need sometimes, and I appreciate everything I have read so far. Even the harsher ones. I appreciate you all so much for taking time out of your day to read my post even if it is super long and quite confusing with some gaps. It's been a wild ride for me too.